Welcome to the Kerbal Space Program. So today we're going to do something similar to the Martian and something similar to NASA's official plans as well. So we're going to launch this first. So this is an unmanned vehicle that's basically the cargo vehicle. It's going to take the return vehicle up, which we'll then be able to use to get off the Juno surface. So it's unmanned, and this is kind of how it would work in real life. You'd send this up first. Now we're going to change it a bit because obviously this is Kerbal Space Program. So we're going to get this up into orbit into escape velocity away from Kerbal's sphere of influence, and then we're going to head to Juno, get an intersect with Juno, and then we're going to switch back. We're going to launch the manned mission, which is going to come up. Now it's not going to be as fancy as the real ship in the Martian because the Martian has spinny bits and it's really spacious. Like there's no way a ship going to Mars would be that spacious at all. It'd be really more like the International Space Station for room. So first of all, we're going to get this puppy into orbit. And I've tried to make it relatively similar to the craft he returns to orbit with from Mars. So it's 2 stages, similar shape, and it's got a lot of parachutes, so hopefully we can land it on the surface of Juno, which is the closest thing to Mars in this game. And we are going to be losing our first stage relatively soon. And there they go. So we're using a Spargate station to save on fuel, so that means our fuel is being pumped. So those fuel tanks we're pumping into these fuel tanks. These fuel tanks are pumping into the center tanks, so that we can always keep ourselves the most efficient weight-wise. And that misleads me to be completely inefficient with my maneuvers. But we'll try and do them as best I can. And I was thinking about doing this all in one vessel, but I decided to do 2 runs. One for the cargo, one for the manned mission, to make it really as similar to how the real mission would actually go if we were really to send people to Mars. So right now I'm going to try and get our Apple apps to about 100,000. Then we're just going to accelerate nice and quick. So we're only at 25,000 at the moment. I think we're actually going to throttle up, get myself moving quicker. We're still very much hitting the atmosphere at the moment, but it's very light up here. But I can't wait to leave that atmosphere behind because then we'll be a lot faster. And I'm hoping we can get some of the escape velocity on these big engines because they're really powerful and make it just a little bit quicker. Then we got the skipper to get us the rest of the way, and a nuclear one which will be for our maneuvering in actual space. So we're almost out of the atmosphere completely now, so I'm going to get us bent over. And we're a little bit wobbly because we're such a long ship, but we will be fine. I think I've already went past 100,000, haven't I? Yes, not by much though. So it's been a while since I've played Kerbal Space Program, but I can now use that new feature, which means we can warp to a specific time, which is awesome. And because the fuel gauges are kind of off, it looks like this tank here is like low, but it's actually these ones in the middle are all full. So this one will actually be completely full once we jettison these 2. So we're still fast forwarding. La-di-da. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Alright. RCS on. Get it to point us in the right direction. She's a big, heavy ship. And we will also get our solar panels out. Because it's not manned, obviously we could run out of power and lose contact with the craft entirely. Okay, so RCS off. I think we can just throttle up here. Wow, the gimbals on those engines are working overtime. There we go, that looks a bit better. So now we're just going to accelerate, and we're not going to stop accelerating until we get escape velocity. And I hope that I've timed this launch well with Juno's orbit so that we don't end up being miles off our orbital course. Because oh, there we go. Hopefully we didn't lose them that long ago. There we go. We've just lost our main engines. We're down to this little skipper engine, which is a real powerhouse. It's pretty, not the most powerful engine, but it's pretty efficient for what you need it to do. Could get a mainsail that fitted in here, but a mainsail is a lot heavier. Would burn through our fuel a lot quicker. Okay, so all we're going to do now is just accelerate until we get escape velocity, which will take a while, so I'll fast forward it. Okay, here we are. We're getting there. We can see we're pushing past the moon, and this is the second moon, and cut. Alright, that's us well and truly out of there, and we've still got a chunk of fuel left, so that's perfect. So we're going to fast forward. And we will leave the sphere of influence that Kerbal has with its gravitational pull, and we'll be in the sphere of influence of the sun. So we'll be orbiting the sun. And then we will need to, come on, any second now. There we go. Now we're orbiting the sun. So we've got to see Juno. So Juno is over here. So we've got to set target. We're going to put down a maneuver, and we're going to figure out if we can get there anytime soon. So we can see Juno will be the, wait, no. We'll be there, Juno will be there. So we need to maneuver this to get it right. So let me see. We'll be there, Juno's there. So we just need to figure out when is going to be the right time to go. It looks like we should have left earlier. Maybe back here. But the good thing is we can warp through loads of time and not have to worry about that kind of thing. So you want to get this just right. The good thing is, well, because we're launching the other craft after this, we should have a good opening for the manned mission to get here at a relatively good time, because they will probably be coming at the right time. Whereas the the unmanned mission doesn't really give a damn. So we just need to figure out where is going to be the right place. Come on. Where are you going to intersect? I think we're pretty close. That's pretty decent. Something like there. So we have an intersect there. Let's just check. So we're going to get that at 21 million. That's not bad. $25. Yeah, it's just pushing us further away. I want to get these two things next to each other, but because of that I've also lost my intersect. $4 million, that's reasonable. So RCS on. We'll let the ship reorientate us towards the marker. Let me just check. We got our solar panels out. Nothing else to deploy on this craft. We want to do our burn. What? Apparently our burn will be in 190 days. Of course it will be, because I'm freaking waiting. Dumbass. RCS back on. I was thinking that's a little bit too long, but that's because we are having to go around a massive orbit before we actually get there. Right, so RCS off. We can now just fast forward. We can't do the fast forward 2 because it's so far in the future, and that will get us a 4 million kilometer intersect. So that's very far away, but we'll be able to refine that. Once we get this one done, we can refine it better and better. Of course, NASA would have all these calculations done before you get there, and it would have all your maneuvers calculated perfectly. You'd be leaving at just the right time to save just the right amount of fuel. It would be bang on. Whereas this is more like cheap math. I'm not even doing math. What am I talking about? It's not even cheap. It's not even math. Right. Of course, you could do it if you wanted to do the math. You could do the math. Alright, we're locked in. We're gonna throw up. This will take a while. We'll fast forward through most of this burn. So I just have to make sure the ship doesn't shake itself apart. But this is like a minute long burn. Alright, that is now that was like a minute long burn on the skipper. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna detach the empty engine, and we're gonna go with the nuclear one. And now we have a 5-minute burn. This is how the thrust is so different. Solar panels have light, just making sure everything's good. So you can see there, we're leaving our debris behind us. That big engine will be floating around in space forever now. Not really in Kerbal though, because it disappears after like so many kilometers. I'll be gone. But here we are, powering away. So we need to just burn off all this speed. We've got 2 minutes, but we're fast forwarding, so that will fly by. And that should, in theory, end up with us with a 4 million kilometer intersect with Juno. I'm looking forward to going to Juno. I haven't been there in so long. I've totally not got a good design with the ladders here as well. I think they only come down to like the landing gear. So it's going to be kind of hard for our Kerbals to get on board, but hopefully it won't be too bad. Oh yeah, we're almost there. So throw back the fast forward and wait for us to get, maybe not quite yet, still like 30 seconds to go. Cut back now, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so we can get rid of this maneuver. And now we don't have an intersect. Probably because we lost the engine midway through it. It probably changed things a little bit. So we're going to have to adjust. So we have to figure out what we need to adjust. So if we go faster, that kind of solves things for getting us back on intersect. But we probably can't get down to that 4. Oh, we can maybe get down to the 4, 5. I think 5 is closer we're going to get, just moving this dial. Yeah, we're just going up again, so hanging that back out. So we're at 5. So we need to get things just right. So trying to adjust things to get it back. Yeah, it's not going to be the ones. I think it's more than likely going to be these ones that'll get us on. So I'll take it 500. Yeah, it's taking us further away, so we go that way then. That's not helping either. So yeah, we're off by something, but I don't know what. Maybe it is this one. It's taking us up. God damn it, yeah, we can't seem to figure out what is the right thing to do here. None of those things are helping me. Let's accelerate. Let's decelerate. Just try to find the right area. I think the more I'm fidgeting, the worse it's getting. So I think we're going to do this maneuver. So we'll do this maneuver and we will see how close we get with it. And then we can do another maneuver to touch it up. Okay, so we need to do a small burn, so not much thrust here. Try not to overdo it. And cut, that'll do. So that gives an intersect of 5 million. So let's see if we can just get that a little closer somehow. So there must be something I can do to improve this. But it might just be that this is not the time to do it. Let's have a look. Let's go to the future and see if we can figure out exactly when we might be able to do a nice maneuver. So if we were doing it from here, let's see if we can figure out anything. That does bring it down. So this is down to like 3 million. Oh, that's good. When you see your next orbit changing dramatically, then you're onto something. It's changing more and more. So I think we're getting damn close. 500,000. Okay, then we lost it. Is that because we hit it? I think we hit it at that point. That's perfect. 58,000 is a good number. We'll bring it. We're gonna probably do aero braking, so we're gonna bring it into atmosphere. But we're not gonna fast forward just yet. We're gonna go back to the Space Center, because now we're gonna launch the manned mission, which is gonna come behind the cargo ship. Now the cargo ship would have already arrived before you send the manned mission, because obviously you want to make sure it gets there fine before you go sending off the mission that actually directly needs it. So we're gonna call this Mars Direct. So here's our craft. So we are gonna change up the crew. We are gonna have Bill. He's actually gonna stay in orbit in Mars. Now that wouldn't happen in real life, but I like the idea of it. So we're gonna do that. So Jeb and Valentina. I think Valentina will probably be flying it. Jeb will be supporting. And Bill will be back in the lander can back here, which will not be landing anywhere. Let's see if we can get this puppy into orbit, hopefully relatively efficiently. So it comes with a massive amount of boosters, like a ton of boosters. So we're going to start with half thrust. Of course the boosters are flown at full thrust. And I want to do have the boosters do most of the lifting at the start. So I'm going to throttle back once we've kind of got some speed up, and let the boosters do everything else for us. And then once we lose them, we'll throttle up and hopefully get this puppy into orbit rather efficiently, or at least that's my hope. Alright, I think we'll throttle back now. And that should do us. So yeah, we've got Valentina and Jebediah who have this view. Oh man, they can actually see the moon. That's a planet they can see out there too, I think. That's cool. I wonder what planet they're actually looking at. We've got Bill, who does not look very happy, but actually has a really nice view. He can see out over the landscape. Cool. We're about to lose our first stage. And that has gone away cleanly. Nice. We don't have to be throttled up so much actually. We want to hold about 200 meters a second. I'd love to figure out if that is indeed a planet we can see, or if we actually do have to get to half throttle to maintain our speed. Let's go a little bit faster than that then. Alright. Yeah, if that's the moon there, what are we looking at then? Are we looking at Minimus? It could be Minimus. It's in the right kind of area. If we keep zooming back, yeah, there's nothing out there in that direction, so it must be Minimus you see it. That's cool. And there's Domun, and there that must be Minimus. Even though it doesn't look exactly in the right direction. Alright, so anyway, we are accelerating. We are getting thinner and thinner altitude here. Thinner and thinner atmosphere even. And we are going to start making our maneuver, our turn, so that when we get into orbit we will just be falling, but falling so fast that we don't hit the planet. Alright. Looks like everything's going fine. I'm going to lock me into something like this kind of angle. Don't know if it's the most efficient right now, but it should do us. And really most of my efficiency will hopefully come from the design. I think I may have overdone it with the nuclear engines, but I've set it up so we can actually separate them off as we go. So we can separate them off in pairs, just like the big engines. Because this is asparagus setup, so that those tanks were pumping into these tanks, and these tanks are pumping into the central tanks. So that means we always can get rid of the most weight, because the most weight is our engines. So we can ditch them quickly, efficiently. It means we can still keep going, because we don't need as many engines now that we're higher and getting out of the atmosphere. So we need to check our altitude. So we really want to get that to like 100,000. We're not there yet, so let's throttle up. Let's use all the power we can from our engines and try and push this up. We need to get it to, I think 70,000 is the kind of limit for the atmosphere, so we want to be higher than that for sure. This looks really nice. Our ship looks really sparkly in this. We've got the darkness of Kerbal behind us there. Really dark. So yeah, I want to get this. I think 100,000 would be good. The ship as well so far is performing beautifully. No like crazy wobbles or anything, so far so good. Alright, we'll stop about there. We'll do a quick warp to here. And we'll want him to point towards a thingy, but we can't do that yet. Of course, it can't warp us very fast, so we've got to wait for us to get there, but it's better than waiting in real time. And we're there, so RCS on, and we'll let him get us on target. This thing is heavy as hell, so we can just start thrusting once we're up here, to be honest, and it'll reorientate us. Look at those gimbals and those big engines working there. Oof. Alright, so now basically we're just going to go full throttle, because all we want to do right now is get us get us into orbit first and continue to go faster in order to whoa, we have a slight wobble there. Yeah, it looks like I've only attached these big tanks up there, so we're getting a bit of a gyration going on between the two engines. I'm going to try full throttle again, because I would just love to get this thing safely into orbit. It's wobbling, cut the engines. Alright, let's try 2/3 then. We might also switch off the gimbals in the big engines if they're causing more trouble. Yeah, we're also heating up, so I'm going to get these radiators out, because these massive engines are going to have a lot of heat, which is starting to burn, starting to slightly melt our solar panels here. Alright, we're in orbit and we're quickly pushing out. So now what we have to watch is for when we run out of fuel on the big engines. I think it's actually the nuclear engines that are causing all the heat. It's a good chance. They go like red hot when they get toasty. Although I expect the big engines as well are not exactly cool. So we've got enough fuel to keep going for a bit anyway. So far so good. Just gotta maintain. Yeah, just gotta make sure I don't use them, use it all up and then just drag those engines along. Gotta make sure I jettison them. This is actually working out really good. And there we go. So that is us, escape velocity. We still have the big engines with us, which is brilliant. I wasn't expecting. So that's extra fuel for the trip. So massive thumbs up there. Well, actually, more fuel for the return trip. That's the important one. If these Kerbals can actually get back. Because if I have to send a rescue mission out for them when they're in the middle of nowhere, like between planets, that is going to be almost impossible. So we can see the cargo ship over there ahead of us. Quite a bit ahead of us, like time-wise, it's really ahead of us. Look at it. It's got a completely different orbit from us now because of its maneuvers. So we are now going to see how easy it'll be to get to Juna from our current location now. Because we sent the cargo up and we waited with the cargo to get the right opening, it should mean, and we have set this target, it should mean potentially that our launch time was a really good time, and we'll actually, that doesn't look too bad. The only thing is, yeah, there was a little problem. He is currently behind. No, is he, was he in front or behind? He's in front, so we need to catch him. So can we do that just by moving this around? Yes, we can. So we can get there, let's say. That will get us a 14 million encounter, which is pretty good. I'm trying to see when the orbit changes the most, because when it changes the most, that's usually when we're the closest to it. Right there seems to be the biggest change. It's 15 though, okay. So basically no better than what we had before. We're going to switch the SAS on, and we're going to turn on, get into position, so that we will be able to do this burn when we get there. So we, yeah, cannot, because it's too far away. So we're going to fast forward to the marker, and we're going to slow down. And we don't need to have this perfect. We can be hours away from our burning time. As long as we're close, we're fine. So we are probably not going to need to burn for very long. Let's see. We're looking at a 23-second burn. Okay, that's a relatively decent burn time. And I'm pretty sure that's going to use up all the fuel in the big engines. We're going to have to jettison them off and go to the nuclear, which will take a lot longer. So 2/3, so we don't shake the ship apart like we were doing earlier. No full throttle for this thing, it seems. And cut. So we're going to jettison. Throttle away. And I've actually forgot to put out some solar panels, so extend. We have way too many solar panels in this ship for its. Oh wait, no, yeah, we did. Put the radiator out, but not the solars. We got 2 more radiators to put out as well. So these solar panels will keep everything running. I don't know if they have like games consoles or something on board, maybe. They'll certainly have plenty of snacks. Alright, so now we have to do the rest of the burn on nuclear engines, which is going to take some time. Let's see if it's safe to fast forward. Looks like it's going to take, yeah, it's not shaking apart or anything. The ship's holding together. No oscillations anywhere. I'm going to go one more. 4x. Ooh. Yeah, she's holding together great. We might have no trouble with the ship. Okay. So I'm going to bring back the time, and we're going to try and get close to this. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, this is where we actually go to the map and see that we're nowhere near, because we probably lost a lot of weight. Oh, that actually looks fine. Yeah, that's really decent. 31. It's more than it was planned to be, but it's not bad. So we're now going to switch back to the cargo. And we are going to now do the maneuver we planned out earlier. It's still saved in the system. So we are going to do that, and it should get us to... I'm not sure what the heck should it get us to. It should get us to 58,000, which is perfect. We are going to do an aero braking, so we will want to come in then, I don't know, something like 20,000 maybe. So we pick up a lot of the Martian atmosphere, or the Juno atmosphere. So I'm going to fast forward to our burn time, or get at least close to it, and then we'll do our burn. And we can see our Mars Direct is totally on a different orbit, but that's because they're going for a different area, which is perfect because it will be intersecting with it later than us, which is exactly what we want. We don't want it turning up first. So this means we should be able to get the cargo guy in orbit, and I think we'll try and get both them in orbit, equator orbits, then we'll launch from both. That's my thinking anyway. So RCS off, we are locked in. I gotta be gentle with the accelerator here. Yeah, this is a small burn. So nothing fancy. And then cut, maybe a little more. Cut there. So we need to have a check how good or bad that went. It went not perfect, 100,000. Let's see if accelerating a little bit will be. Right, let's bring it down slowly though. Yeah, now it's going up. So that is not quite what we want. We want a little bit closer than that. I want to be in atmosphere. So we need to just have a little. That changed our orbit a hell of a lot, but I think it was maybe because we're crashing into it. I think we're crashing into it, yeah. I'm not getting another number coming up. There we go. 9,000 meters. So that will work fine. This will be a tiny ass barn. Tiny as hell. Seriously, what? Getting a little bit wobbly here. RCSO. Wow. I'm not sure what the hell was causing that wobble. Everything in this ship should actually be pretty stable because it's very well connected to each other. There's definitely a wobble going on though. I don't know why. Anyway, let's do the burn. Hope that our oscillation didn't mess it up. Oh god, I have to be extra careful with this burn. I think I'm not going to do that anymore because I think we're hitting. It's going to do. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect. We'll make sure we're leaving this with its solar panels facing the sun. Yep, looking good. As it rotates around the planet, around the sun actually, it'll be changed, but that's not too bad. So we switch to this guy now.